Hello and welcome to this video. So in this video, I'm going to give you the reasons why you should always use a credit card. So if you're new to this channel, my name is Jubair and I'm a final year PhD student at UCL. So I'm about to finish in a few months, hopefully. And in this channel, I give you my tips on living the best kind of life you can based on my experience as a PhD student and other things that I do. So firstly, in this video, I'm going to tell you the difference between a credit card and a debit card. Then I'm going to give you 5 compelling reasons why you should definitely order a credit card now and start using it every single day. So you might already have a debit card. Almost anything that you're already ordering online is through a virtual or a physical debit card. So this is something that is issued by your bank, and essentially there is one huge similarity between a credit card and a debit card, as they both use credit. So instead of cash, which you can actually physically hold and you can actually physically store, credit is basically money that the bank guarantees, but you don't actually physically get to keep anything in receipt of it. It's just all goodwill from the bank. So you trust the bank that if the bank says you have £10, you have £10. So credit is basically digital money where there is inherent value based on the government and the bank systems being in place. So how does a debit card differ from a credit card? So the whole point of a debit card is that you're spending money that you already own. So if you have a bank account and you put in £10,000, for example, you have £10,000, and a debit card is just a way of spending it physically in stores. So the stores must accept debit cards or credit cards or any form of payments. So currently most stores accept cash, which means that they are willing to accept this as a form of currency, which means that there is trust in the government, there's trust in the stores, and this has been going on for years and years. So credit isn't that much different from cash these days, and soon enough you'll see that most stores are going to become cashless. So if credit is something that is non-physical but you can still use, is as good as money, right? So a debit card is issued by the bank and it allows you to spend it in stores where they accept a debit card, which is almost every single store. However, a credit card is a little bit different. It still uses credit, but instead of you having to spend the money that you already have, for example that £10,000 in your bank, you can get a credit card that is issued by a credit card provider that might have £2,000 on it. So this £2,000 does not actually belong to you, so you are borrowing that money from the credit card company, which means that if you make a payment of, let's say, £2,000, you are actually indebted £2,000 to the credit card company. And so the word debt sounds like the worst thing in the world, and remember, not all debt is bad debt. For example, a mortgage is still a debt, but it's not a technically bad debt because you can have it as an asset. If your house appreciates as a function of time, which it usually does, means that your mortgage is no longer a bad debt because you're making some kind of profit from it. But anyway, with a credit card, you are issued a certain credit limit, let's say £2,000. Once you are approved, that £2,000 is available to actually spend with. So that means when you made a payment of, let's say again £2,000, you do not physically own that £2,000, but the credit card company does, and therefore you must pay that money back. So you might be thinking right now, why on earth would I want to get myself into debt? But there are actually many good reasons why. So this video is not to say that you should get into credit card debt. This video is to say that credit cards can be used to your advantage, and the main thing is to never get into debt is to pay off your credit card balance. And I'm going to make a separate video for that because I think it's very important. And with that technique, I've actually maxed out my credit score. So I'm going to show you in a separate video how to max out your credit score using a credit card and get into zero debt. So now I'm going to get onto the part where I'm going to give you 5 compelling reasons why you should use a credit card every day. So if you haven't already gotten yourself a credit card, I'm going to make a separate video on how to apply for credit cards and the different kind of credit cards and the different kind of unique advantages they have. So the first one is introductory offers. So whether you're signing up for something like an American Express or any other bank issued credit card, there are usually introductory offers. For example, for the first X amount you spend, you get extra cash back. So introductory offers can be amazing, especially when you have a planned big purchase. For example, during my PhD, every year I'd buy an annual train travel card, which would cost over £1,000, and I would pay that onto a credit card. So for one of those years, I took full advantage of a introductory offer of a credit card, which was an American Express Platinum credit card, and it gave 5% cashback for the first £1,500 spent. So immediately I got myself a bunch of cashback, which was really good because spending £1,000 on a train ticket does not sound like fun. But anyway, many different credit cards give different introductory offers. For example, an Amazon credit card will give you an offer where spending a certain amount in the first year will allow you to to rack up enough points to actually get a big Amazon gift card, maybe like £50 or something like that. So it's very specific to the actual credit card provider, but whenever you take out a new credit card, there's usually always a good introductory bonus. And if you think about it, this is money that you would have already spent if it was a big purchase, and all you're doing is just getting a reward on that lump amount. The second reason why you'd want to get a credit card and use it every day is that a lot of credit cards actually give you daily rewards. So for example, American Express used to have something called Air Miles, and now if you get the British Airways American Express, it gives you Avios points, which can go towards getting cheaper flights. If you spend a certain amount, you get 2-for-1 companion voucher, for example, which allows you to get a free ticket on top of one ticket if you travel a lot. In addition to that, there are many different cashback offers, such as getting 1% off every single purchase that you make, or getting nectar points or some other points. So there are always cashback or reward structures in place for a credit card to reward you for paying for stuff. For example, when I started my PhD, I was buying thousands and thousands of pounds worth of stuff for the laboratory, and then I would get my money back through the department. But if I had a credit card back then and I spent all that money on my credit card, I would have got a good bonus. So I really did miss out, and I really strongly encourage you, if you can, to get a credit card and put all your purchases on a credit card, because it gives you a good amount of rewards bonus. The third reason why you'd want to use a credit card all the time is the fact that it has insurance. So for example, American Express has great insurance. So true story, just before the first lockdown, I had bought a ticket for a student who had to return home because of the whole pandemic situation, and I bought it with my American Express credit card. So what happened was the student missed the final flight going back to his country, and of course he couldn't go back to his country. That was also the time where a lot of refunds weren't happening, or weren't happening quick enough because of the whole situation. Airlines were inundated with many requests of refunds and stuff, and many airlines actually went bust, which means they went bankrupt. So using something like an American Express usually has something like travel insurance. If you're stuck in another country, they will actually help you. It's part of the actual scheme. So this really saves you if you travel a lot, or even if you don't travel a lot, even if you're buying tickets for someone else. For me, it was really easy to get my money back. If I had gone through the actual airline provider, it may have taken a lot more time, and I may not even have got my money back. And that kind of brings me on to the fourth reason, is the fact that there is something called chargeback on credit cards. So using a credit card is much safer than using a debit card to buy stuff. Say you're buying something from an unknown provider or something that you can't fully trust. If you pay by your debit card and the item doesn't actually arrive, it is very difficult to get that money back. Even if you contact your bank, once the bank transfer has been made, it's almost impossible to return that transfer. And trust me, I know this from experience. So paying by credit card, because it's not your actual money, there is a certain grace period, which means that if anything happens between buying it and a few more days or weeks, you can easily get your money back. And the process of chargeback is when the actual funds can be withheld to the actual seller if they're doing something like fraud, or if you paid for housework or something and they did a really bad job. And if you paid by credit card, you actually have a lot of control over getting your money back. If you contact the credit card company, they can easily sort out your situation, especially with American Express, where I in the past have been a victim of phishing, true story, to my uni email address, where I actually ended up buying £500 worth of these gift vouchers, where I stupidly sent back to the fraudsters. But I contacted American Express and they were incredibly nice, and they actually gave all my money back, which was a huge relief because it was such a stupid mistake and it would have cost me dearly otherwise. And the final reason why you should use a credit card every single day is the fact that using your credit card and paying back your balance actually improves your credit score. And this was one of the ways in which I was able to max out my credit score. So credit score can be important for many things, especially when you're applying for a mortgage. So mortgage providers, because it's such a risk for them to actually lend you money, want to know that you're responsible when borrowing and giving back money. So the more you spend with a credit card and the more you pay it off before actually gathering interest, the more your credit score actually increases, because it shows that you're more reliable with actually paying back things. And the credit score can really help you in the long term. So the more you spend with the credit card, the more your credit card provider actually trusts you. They can increase your credit limit, which is the amount of money they actually have in your card. And I have many other tips for using credit cards, especially never to actually go close to that credit limit. If you want to hear more of these tips for credit cards, make sure you let me know in the comments down below, because otherwise I may not make a follow-up video of this. But I've been using credit cards for years now, and it's literally one of the best switches I made instead of using just my debit card. So I really hope this video has been quite informative. So I've been watching so much Money Heist in Spanish now, kind of think in Spanish is really weird. I was gonna say información for some reason. Yes, I hope this video has been informational. Is that even a word? I hope this video has been useful to you. If you want to see more videos related to financial tips, make sure you let me know in the comments down below. Subscribe if you like this video and you want to see more about financial advice and also life advice in general. And as always, thank you for watching.